Hey ghouls, Terry Krueger, the sweetest psychopath you'll ever meet, and welcome back to my channel. Welcome back, ghouls. So today I'm going to do something a little bit different. Instead of makeup, I'm going to actually go over my top 10 favorite horror movies of the decade. Since the decade is ending pretty soon, we're going to enter 2020. I really thought back and was like, what should I do for a video today? And I kept just thinking of like, I want to do horror movie shit. Like, I love makeup and we'll get back to that next time, but I really also want to take a chance and start doing more horror things on this channel. So if you're into that, get ready because I have a few ideas that I really want to like start doing and I'm really excited for. But don't worry, makeup will not leave this channel because I love makeup just as much as I love horror. So both of those things will always be a part of me and my channel and what I do here. First of all, I want to say this wig has been a nightmare. I hate this wig. It was kind of expensive because it's real hair with like some synthetic in it because of the color. But it was flat. I didn't like it flat. I've curled it up. I'm still iffy about it. Then I feel the lace is super, super dark. So I'm sorry if my hairline looks really, really weird. It's bugging the shit out of me. So I thought I would just address it. But I don't know if they like the lace came in different colors or whatever, but this one is super, super dark. I might need to like, I don't know, do the drag thing and spray paint my whole hairline black or something. I don't know. But anyways, fuck the wig. Let's talk about my top 10 favorite horror movies of this decade. Now, I'm not going to say them in any particular order, and a lot of you guys might not disagree with me about my picks, but beyond the film, besides me liking the film, I like a lot of these movies mostly because of the history I have when it comes to like the people I watch them with, or just something that really like means more to me than just the film itself, although I do love all these movies. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started and we'll just have notes again. Okay, so before we start, a warning, there will be spoilers for all the films we do talk about, because I'm going to be going into detail about some of them, so you are warned. Anyways, the first film I'm going to choose for my top favorite of the decade is Us by Jordan Peele. When that first came out, when I first saw the trailer, I was so intrigued by it. I was like, oh my god, counting down the days to see when that film came out because I was so like mesmerized by the trailer and just all the posters. I really want to know like what was going to happen and like what was going on. Why was there duplicates of people? In my mind, I at first thought that they were going to be skinwalkers, which would have also been kind of cool because the only thing that scares me more than sharks is also honestly like skinwalkers. That's just honestly something so creepy to me. But and it turns out it's not. What it ends up being is the government had started making clones of us, well, people in general, and they kind of shoved them away in these tunnels underground. But because they mimicked everything that we did, is the reason why there's so many of them. Because like when people would get together, have babies, so would the clones down below. But honestly, right away at the beginning of the film, I knew that the little girl had been switched with her doppelganger, which is the mom in the whole film. Movie, I love the twist and I had so much fun watching it. It's definitely become one of my new favorite films, and I really, really enjoyed it. So it had to be on this list. if And the second film would have to be Hereditary. Now, A24, I believe A24 is a studio who's putting out all these new horror movies, and I'm absolutely like loving all this shit that they're putting out. They've been putting out really creepy shit. Another one they've done was Midsummer. I was gonna put that on the list, but it was cute. Like, it was a slow burn and it was a good one-time watch because of all the freaky shit that happens in that film. But I decided to leave it out because there were so many more other films I thought would be better for this list. And Hereditary was one of them. Like, I really, really enjoyed that film because there was a small part of the decade where like I was even going by year to see what movies are coming out, like which movies came out, so I could like make my list. And as I was like, wow, there was like a big gap where like I didn't care for any horror movie that came out. Like, I was like, what did I do in that time? I guess just watch a bunch of old films. But yeah, there was like a time where I was like, wow, all these suck. There was times I skipped over a whole like fucking year or two because I just didn't like anything that came out. But anyways, Hereditary was really good. Like, if you've seen that movie, oh my god, the trailer totally has you thinking a whole different idea of what the film's gonna be. Like, you see the little girl doing her little sound and just being creepy, so you think like, oh, she's gonna be evil and be the killer in this movie or something, and it turns out she's not. She actually gets killed kind of early on in the film in the most horrific way too. Like, I have a lot of food allergies, so I know like the fucking panic when you fucking eat something you're not supposed to and you start to swell up, your throat's closing and you start freaking out. So In the film, she eats, I think, peanuts that were in a cake, and she's at a party. And first of all, bitch, I would have been fucking dead because I hate parties, especially if I was like forced to go to one. Like the mom kind of forced her to go to that movie with the brother. Like he didn't want to take her, she didn't really want to go, and then she goes and she eats cake and fucking has a fucking allergic reaction. That would have been like, oh my god, because the people around you aren't gonna know what's gonna happen, and you don't really know anyone else to be like, hey, can you help me? I'm about to die. Luckily, she finds the brother, and he's like, oh shit, let's go, let's take it to the ER. But as she's like struggling to breathe, she sticks her head out the window to try to get air. He gets too close to a fucking light post or whatever and knocks her head right off. So the whole movie actually like had my anxiety like going through the roof because the movie was dealing with a lot of like depressions, deaths, because it's dealing with like two deaths in the family. The mother, well, the grandmother died, the little girl died, and now they're just kind of like have this like silent like grudge against each other, kind of like blaming each other for like the death of the little girl. But then the movie starts taking a weird turn. Like, so she starts meeting all these weird people who are friends with the grandma, and then we come to find out like she was a witch and part of like this big satanic cult, and they had to do some sacrifice to in order to like bring this devil up. I think the devil himself actually like to earth. So a lot of crazy shit happens. I love the part where Toni Collette like fucking just decapitates herself, I think with like a piano wire she has around her neck. The son's like all freaking out. He looks up and she's like there floating, like going back and forth with the fucking piano wire. She just starts going faster and faster so you just hear like her head like fall off and hit the ground. And my third pick actually is like a horror comedy. It's a Netflix original and it's called The Babysitter. Oh my god, that movie, when I watched it for the first time, I was like so tripped out. Because I actually didn't watch the trailer. The friend I was with was kind of like, oh, you like it, let's just watch it. It's like, oh, it's about a babysitter and people like trying to kill them. So I was like, okay, I'll watch it. I love slasher films. But so the movie's about this geeky little boy, and of course he's honestly way too old to have a babysitter, but he has a babysitter. And they get along really well. They talk about like all this geek shit. It's really cute. And then she sends him off to bed. So her friends, of course, come over and they're like playing spin the bottle. And this little geeky guy's all excited because he's gonna get to kiss the pretty girl. And then as he goes up to kiss her, she fucking stabs him in the head with these two knives. And they sacrifice him. Well, they're gonna use him as a sacrifice because he was a virgin. And it turns out the babysitter and all the friends are like part of some satanic cult. And they're also going to use blood from the little boy because it has to be part of the sacrifice, like they needed the innocent or something. And they're all just trying to like, you know, have whatever come true. But then of course the little boy wakes up and then like accidentally starts killing them off one by one. I just the first death like is like crazy. One of the guys is chasing the boy up the stairs and he trips like on a remote control car and he falls off the balcony and like he slams and like some like trophy thing goes right through his neck. He snaps his neck on the floor. So much blood. It was such a fun movie. And I heard that they might be making a sequel, so I'm excited to see what they do with that because of course at the end she doesn't die, she gets away. And then number 4 is another one that I really, really enjoyed, but all my friends fucking hated it, and that would be the Belko Experiment. I just really, I don't know, it was such a fun movie to watch, and it had such a huge body count because, I mean, the whole fucking office is being killed. So so this movie takes place in an office building, and all these people, when they get hired, have to get like a tracking chip placed in there that actually uses a bomb. So on a certain day, they send like all the locals home because the movie doesn't take place in America, and all the Americans stay in the building. And it's kind of like it's not like comedy. It's not like a horror comedy, but there is a lot of humor in it, which I really liked. So they hear a voice come over the intercom, and it's like, "Oh, you have to kill 2 people within the next 30 minutes, or something like that, or I'll kill 4 people." So none of them kind of believe it, and they let the time pass. And of course, the fucking 4 people die, like their heads explode, and everyone starts freaking out. So that's when they make the decision that, well, we got to listen to what this thing says, or we're all gonna die. So then a thing comes over the intercom again, kill a certain amount of people before this time is up, and of course some people start killing people, some people are just trying to hide. And one thing of the movie that kind of was like annoying, that you kind of think like, oh, this is gonna be the heroine, she's gonna survive. There's this one character who like the movie starts where she's just getting hired and she's like going through all the protocol or whatever. And during the whole movie, she's like hiding. So one of the guys who's like part of the killing team even sees her and like lets her go. So at the end, she's like hiding in the elevator shaft, and she climbs down and is about to escape. And then as soon as the elevator doors open, she gets popped right in the fucking head, and that's the end of her. And it's kind of like, why'd you build up that character so much if you're just gonna shoot her in the head like randomly? So that was the only thing, kind of like, okay. Another film is really underrated, and I actually haven't heard much people talk about it in a long time, even when it first came out, and that would have to be Clown. That movie was so fucking good. It starts off with this so the movie's about like this guy's throwing a party for his kid, and the clown doesn't show up. And I believe he like is a real estate agent or something like that. I don't remember. It's been a long time since I've actually seen the film. But he's like, oh, there's a clown suit in here. I'll put on the clown suit and be the clown for my kid's party. Which of course it doesn't turn out to be a clown suit. It actually turns out to be demon skin. And as he puts it on, he actually starts turning into the clown and becomes vicious. And he actually starts ripping apart and eating kids. The movie's really trippy. It's very gory. I love it. If you haven't seen Clown, it's definitely one to check out. Next, actually really only picked this movie because I appreciated it for what it was, and that was The Green Inferno. If you haven't seen that movie, it's kind of, it kind of reminded me like somewhat of a remake of the Cannibal Holocaust. If you've never seen the Cannibal Holocaust, it was banned for like a long time and super heavily edited. My favorite thing about the Cannibal Holocaust is more about like what happened behind the scenes than what actually like the film itself. Because like in all honesty, like, the film's cute, but I didn't like it too much. Like it's fine. None of the killing of the people or anything like really is what got to me. But I know that in the movie they kill the animals that they kill. I believe they kill them for real, and I didn't like that. But the movie was so graphic for its time that the director actually had to present all the actors who died in the film in court to prove that they were still alive because of like how realistic everything looked when they were killed. So of course, hearing that, like in middle school, I'm like, I need to find this movie. I need to find this movie, and I could never find it. And luckily, my mother got it for me for Christmas, and I watched it, and like it was cute, but it wasn't like the greatest thing ever. It was honestly kind of boring. Like the gore was fun, but that was it. But anyways, The Green Inferno. It's kind of like a more modern version of that, and it's about where these like people are going to like try to protest some forest being torn down or whatever. Um, and as they're doing that, they're flying back home after they like accomplish their mission, or so they think they accomplish their mission. But then their plane crashes and they end up lost in the jungle somewhere on an island, and it's inhabited by a tribe of cannibals, of course, which is fun. And I actually really did enjoy this film. It's like held captive, and like one by one they're getting eaten. I know the first one they kill is like of course the big guy in the group, and it's so graphic how they do it too, like they fucking split him open, like it got really gory, and I lived for it. So if you love gore and like just like a suspenseful movie, definitely check out Green Inferno. I love it. The little guy from Spy Kids is in it, and he gets killed in such a funny way. I'll save that in case you haven't seen it. Check it out. But I thought the movie was really good. I believe Eli Roth made it or produced it, and I love Eli Roth. Him as the Bear Jew in Inglourious Bastards. Oh my god. Like, hey. Actually, just Eli Roth in general. Like, what's up, daddy? But it was definitely really fun. I believe someone gets killed with fire ants. If is that correct, or is that something else? I think that's that movie. I'm so sorry, I don't remember. I want to say it is. I want to say it is. People are gonna be like, "Oh, how you fucking picking this movie as your top 10 of the decade and you don't even remember what happens?" Sorry, bitch. Fuck. Anyways, the next film is one of my favorites because I really did enjoy it, and not necessarily like the film itself. I mean, the film itself is really good, but this one has a backstory to why I like it so much, and that is Sinister. And if you haven't seen that one, it revolves around this family who Ethan Hawke, who's also fucking gorgeous. He's like a journalist and writes about like true crime stories, and there's this case where like a so there's a case he goes to investigate where a family was killed and the kid goes missing. So they move into the house and he doesn't tell his family, and he starts investigating to find all this weird shit. Apparently there's this demon named Bagul, and what he does is he like possesses children and gets them to kill their families, and then he kidnaps the children, takes them back to hell or wherever. And the movie was really I was living at my old place, and my old place like honestly was super haunted. And at first I just really legit thought I was losing my mind and going crazy because of how real things were in that house, and like how clear and things like how clear things were that I saw, and like shit that was happening. I honestly legit thought like I was losing my mind and going crazy. until other people started experiencing it themselves. Like I would have friends or family come over, they would see shit, they would hear shit, they would feel shit, and it got really, really intense. But that's a story for another day. After that film, like there were so many things that kind of like in a way reminded me of like what was going on in my house and it honestly did creep me out a little bit. Like, that's never anything that happens to me except if I like watch Jaws and then go swimming, then the whole time I'm like there's a shark at the bottom of the fucking pool. But honestly that was the first time I've ever felt like truly like oh shit, like that movie left me feeling so uncomfortable because of like so much of what was going on in my house at the time. I remember leaving the theater and I was headed home and I was kind of like asking my friends like, you guys want to stay the night? Can I stay the night? But no, I sucked it up and so much shit happened in the house. I'll share stories of that later. Like I share stories here and there about that house, but we'll get into that later. Anyways, you're next. That has to be one of like my ultimate like new favorite movies. That one is so good. So the movie's mostly about like this the couple. They're gonna go visit the guy's family and have like a dinner with his all his siblings and everything. And as they're having dinner, like a fucking arrow comes through the window and hits one of the sister's boyfriends, and like slowly they're all being killed. Later in the film, we find out that the two of the brothers and one of their girlfriends had planned this whole thing out because they wanted to collect the family's inheritance. And they were supposedly going to leave the main character, I think her name was Erin, they were going to leave her alive as a witness to like what happened. Or so they say, but I think they just told her that because she fucking kicked everyone's ass and killed everybody. And number 9, it'd have to be Piranha Double D or 3D, whatever it's called. Like, I love the original one. As a kid, it was just funny and it's a bunch of like killer fish. But I love campy horror, and this is definitely like horror kind of comedy, but it's just so fucking over the top and campy. Like, how can I not love it? So it's a bunch of piranhas, like ancient piranhas that came out through something and they started killing all the people. There's a lot of like, because of the time I was working in the adult industry is the reason why I noticed. But like a lot of the extras are like people who were like kind of extras but had like a noticeable death scene or something, or a lot of like porn stars. Again, Eli Roth is in that movie. He gets crushed, and then I think he gets like crushed by a boat or something, and I think the porn star is trying to help him up. I think her name's like Ashlyn Brooke or something, and then she gets killed because this cable like shoots down and like cuts her in half. That one is like actually I want to go watch Piranha as soon as I'm done filming this because I haven't seen that movie in a long time, and I really fucking love that movie. It's so corny. And yes, I know I'm terrified of sharks, but a bunch of little fish, they don't scare me. I mean, unless I really fell in a tank of piranhas or something and got eaten by them, and then maybe I'd be like, oh shit, piranhas. But until then, no. Piranhas don't scare me. I am a piranha. And number 10 for me would honestly have to be more because of like what the film kind of means to me and all my friends, and just like personal history with watching the movie, and that would have to be Jennifer's Body. I love that movie so much. I remember going to see that movie twice in one day with like all my friends. Well, I went with one friend in the morning, and then later on in the day I went with another group of friends. But oh my god, Jennifer's Body was just so like, especially at the time I was like a super young little gay boy, and my best friend was just like another little gay boy, and we kind of related a lot to like Needy and Jennifer, me being Jennifer and him being Needy, because I'm a demonic entity that eats boys, well, half of that's true, half of that's true. But like even the relationship kind of reminded me of us in a way. And I mean, I was not anywhere as mean as Jennifer is. I mean, I mean, we did have to glance at each other and laugh hysterically in the theater after she first gets killed and like pops up at Needy's house, and Jennifer's going through her fridge and she pulls out a whole rotisserie chicken and starts eating it. Because years before that movie even came out, one time we were really fucked up at my friend's house, and I went to the fridge, I opened it, and I pulled out a whole rotisserie chicken, and I was eating it by like the whole like just pulling parts of it out. I was fucked up. I'm not that gross all the time, I promise. But I overdid it, and of course I threw up all over his floor. Mine was the pink, I remember, not black, because he reminds me of it so often. I threw up all this pink shit I don't even know where it came from. I might have chugged like a gallon of Kool-Aid before eating. Oh, good old days of being young and stupid. But anyways, I threw up a big pink mess all over his floor after like scarfing down half a rotisserie chicken. So in Jennifer's Body, when that happens, oh my god, we just both looked at each other and could not stop laughing because we're like, what a coincidence, like, wow. And of course the movie's fun, like it's a demonic bitch eating. Like, of course the movie's fun though on its own. It's just like a demonic girl eating a bunch of boys. My favorite thing is when she's killing Colin Gray, the little like goth guy, who's actually cute, but also he looks exactly like an ex of mine. So I'm kind of torn between of like, is he cute or do I want her, or am I happy she ate him? And another reason why I love the movie, I mean, it's named after a whole song, and I love Courtney Love. Like, I'm obsessed with her. Anyways, that was my top 10 pick of the decade. I'm so sorry if you hated all the movies I picked because in all honesty, my friends like hate all the movies I listed as my favorite for the decade. Most, except for like the Jennifer's Body and Clown. I think my friend likes Clown. Other than that, they hate all the other ones. Jennifer's Body and Clown are like the only ones they like. But anyways, I had fun doing this list. I think I want to do another one, like starting from like the 80s, the 90s, and upcoming horror movies that I'm excited for. Let me know if you guys are interested in that. I had so much fun doing this. I really hope you guys had fun watching this. If you want to follow me on Instagram, that's Tara_Krueger. I'll leave it down in the link below. Smash that like button, subscribe to this channel, hit that bell for notifications, and until the next time, I'll see you ghouls later.